There are 9 survivors in Forsaken, but you might be wondering which one is the best. First, we have to look at all the characters. There are 3 survivalists, 3 sentinels, and 3 supports. The 3 survivalists being Noob, 007 and 7, and 2 Time. Noob is the character you get when you first join the game. So, you might think he is the worst, since, well, he's the first character you get when you spawn in. But that's where you would be wrong. He's actually very good at surviving, since he gets a Bloxicola that gives him speed, a Ghost Burger that's basically useless. The only time it's good is if you're being chased by 1X's minions or Cool Kids Pizza Guys. And his last ability is Slate Skin Potion. The way Slate Skin Potion works is that you are immortal while under the effects of Slate Skin. So you might think Noob is super overpowered, but there's a huge problem. You are super slow while under the effects of Slate Skin. But it still could get you out of situations like this. Moving on to 007 and 7, who is also a good survivalist, being able to spawn a clone which can work sometimes, but is very unreliable if the killer has more than 3 brain cells. But it can actually trick somebody if you use it when running around a corner like this. He also can teleport across the map using his second ability, but the only problem with it is that you cannot move for 6 seconds, and you also can't cancel it, leaving you very vulnerable. And moving on to the worst character in the entire game, 2 Time. Listen, I know he is getting a rework soon, but right now, he is literally the worst character. He spawns with 0 abilities and 80 health, but he gets a second life with 40 health, so in total, he has 120 health. But there's a very, very, very big problem. When he loses his first life, he comes back with 40 health and weakness 5 for 15 seconds, leading to moments like this. I don't think I need to explain further on why he's the worst character. Now let's look at the supporting survivors. The supporting survivors are Desukar. I don't really know how to say that. Desukar? I have no clue. Anyways, Builderman and Elliot. First, let's talk about Wizard Pumpkin Guy. He's probably the worst support. He gets 2 abilities. One is a laser beam that speeds up your teammates and slows the killer for 3 seconds! And his second ability spawns a force field around one of your teammates. But there's a problem. When you use your ability, you get really slow, so you are very vulnerable, so stuff like this happens. So he's definitely the worst support character while recording this. Hopefully he will get a buff in the future. Now, let's look at one of the best supporters, Builderman. He gets 2 abilities, the first being a sentry that slows the killer, making moments like this. His second ability is a dispenser that can heal both him and his allies. So he is very good for both supporting and surviving.
It's halfway through the video now, so consider subscribing, but only subscribe if you're enjoying the video. I mean it.
Last but definitely not least, we got Elliot. He's by far the best support, being able to give a teammate a slice of pizza that heals 35 HP. But for every Elliot in the round, the pizza heals 50% less. And his second ability, Rush Hour, gives him speed 3 for 3 seconds. And he gets it back by giving a player a pizza. You might think Elliot would be very good for surviving, but he's actually not very good because most killers target the Elliots first, and also Rush Hour doesn't even help you that much because, well, it's 3 seconds. So Elliot is very good for supporting, but pretty bad for surviving. Now, let's look at the 3 sentinels. Guest 1337, Chance, and Shedletsky. Let's take a look at Guest 1337 first. Guest has 3 abilities: block, charge, and punch. When you block a killer's attack, it gives you 1 punch, getting you out of tricky situations like this. And your charge ability is also very useful. You can use it to hit the killer back, or you could use it to run away. But if you don't hit the killer, you get slowness. There's one big problem with Guest. If you miss your block, then you look stupid, and you also would be dead. And even if you do block the killer's attacks, they can just step to the side. So Guess is pretty fun to use, but not very good for surviving or supporting. Now let's look at the Now let's look at the gambling addict, Chance. Now Chance is a pretty good survivor since he has 4 abilities. Let's look at the first one, Coin Toss. The way Coin Toss works is pretty simple. When you land on heads, he gets a charge on his other 2 abilities, but we will look at that later. And if the coin lands on tails, he gets weakness. If you get 3 stacks of your abilities, you get Hat Fix, getting rid of all your weakness you had. Now let's look at the last 2 abilities Chance has. Reroll and a gun. Yes, Chance literally gets a gun. Reroll randomizes your health 60 through 120, and a gun has 50% chance to shoot, 25% not to shoot, and another 25% to blow up. And every charge you have on your gun, the chances of the gun shooting goes up. So Chance is probably the most unique character in Forsaken, and he is actually good for supporting, being able to stun the killer from very far away, but he's not very good at surviving. Last, and definitely not least, we have Shedletsky. Shedletsky is probably the most overpowered survivor right now. You might be thinking, what makes Shedletsky better than the other survivors? Well, let me explain. Shedletsky spawns with 2 abilities, Slash and Fried Chicken, but let's talk about the Slash first. The Slash ability is so broken, all you have to do is run around the corner and then smack the killer. Or you could just let them run into you and then just smack them. The sword stuns the killer for 3 seconds, getting you out of tricky situations like this. His second ability, Fried Chicken, lets him heal by 40, and the animation of him eating the chicken is only 3 seconds, meaning if you're in a chase and the killer runs out of stamina, you can just heal. So this is my tier list. If you disagree, let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching. Bye.